Okay, Manchester United's new number 9 isn't normal.
The news we've been waiting for: Manchester United have announced the signing of Slovenia striker Benjamin Šeško on a 5-year deal until June.
Benjamin Sesko is different. He almost defies logic, and that's what Manchester United need now. He's 6'4" and yet super fast. He makes his weak foot look like a joke. He packs rockets with shots, intimidates defenses, and almost rarely gets injured. Benjamin Sesko is a freak of nature, and he's perfect for Manchester United.
Got the physicality that you think could certainly perform in the Premier League. He's a real presence. You feel that, if they want to play the ball into him, he can certainly hold the ball up and link play. He's also got pace to get in behind. We know that he's a goal scorer, but again, I think he can even get better with that. So
he's got every attribute you'd associate with a modern-day number 9, but what makes it scarier is that Sesko is still only 22. He's going to get better despite his crazy skill set. Right now, though, he addresses an immediate issue for Manchester United. Sesko brings goals.
So his minutes per goal is 185 minutes per goal in the league. And Xerxes is 464, or Højlund is 503. So immediately, he's already a tenfold better goal scorer per minute on average than them two.
He's already an upgrade to what Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund were for Manchester United last season. For context, Zirkzee and Højlund scored a combined total of 7 league goals last season. Yeah, it was that bad. Sesko played for a slightly better RB Leipzig team that still finished 7th and didn't qualify for European football, just like Manchester United. Sesko bagged 13 goals last season. He bagged 14 goals in the previous campaign. That's 27 goals over the last 2 seasons. For context, he was 21 and 20 respectively. The point is, Sesko will get better, but even for his age, he's scoring goals better than what United have in attack now. When you have an active goal threat like Sesko, it raises the level of the rest of the team. Need an example? Sesko has hit double figures in goals in 3 consecutive seasons. The only Manchester United player to bag double digits in goals in the last 3 seasons is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is a midfielder. He's an active goal threat, especially when he's in the box. Going back to his first season in the Bundesliga with RB Leipzig, 13 of Sesko's 14 league goals came inside the penalty area. It simply means if United can get the ball into the box more often than not, Sesko will get on the end of chances. Cunha and Mbeumo, the Manchester United new signing at right wing, attempted the most crosses in the Premier League last season with 202. If he keeps that figure up with a target like Sesko, carnage. But here's where it gets crazier. Even when balls aren't getting into the box regularly, Sesko is still a very active goal threat. Now I say that because when it comes to striking balls from long range, he's got a cannon on either foot, right foot, left foot. He packs on both. The metrics suggest something versatile about Sesko too. In the 2023-24 season, we already talked about how Sesko did most of his damage from inside the box. He ranked 4th in the league for on-ball activities made in the box. Last season, he got on the ball more, but he touched it less in the box. Sesko showed his ability to drop deep and get involved in play. He took fewer shots from inside the box, 2.4 per 90 in the 2023-24 season, down to 1.5 per 90 last season. In fact, of the 12 players with 12-plus Bundesliga goals in the 2024-25 season, only Michael Olise scored a lower proportion of his goals from inside the box than Sesko, 66.7% to 76.9%. These aren't just stats. They show a two-faced side to Sesko's game. When he stays in the box, he scores goals. But if he's got the space to unleash from distance, he can punish teams. It's not just his shots that fly off the mark. Sesko himself does too. Sesko's pace of 35.7 km/h might seem relatively modest when compared to other strikers in the Bundesliga, but shift that metric to the Premier League. It's at the same speed as the likes of Erling Haaland and Gabriel Martinelli clocked last season. Again, Sesko's 6'4". It's almost logic-defying how a guy that big is that fast. When he's in the air, it's genuinely scary. I mean, look at how high this guy jumps. That is insane. The package is mental. Šeško is an intimidating force of nature as a player. Then you add him as a piece, a collective to what Manchester United have in attack, and that team hits a new level. United scored 44 league goals last season. We've already talked about how Sesko becomes a new goal threat to the team. But the best part is, unlike United's centre-forward signings in recent years, Sesko won't have to shoulder the goal-scoring burden heavily on his own. United also signed Matheus Cunha and Mbeumo last season. The two bagged 15 and 20 league goals respectively. Sesko bagged 13. The point is that the workload of goals becomes evenly distributed among the three, focusing on Sesko and how the other two complement him. Mbeumo, for example, made more runs in behind when his team had the ball than anyone else in the Premier League last season with 415. How does this relate? When Sesko drops deep, like he has done to link up play in midfield, Mbeumo is an option to get into the spaces he leaves behind. It's the same when Cunha drops into half spaces to receive the ball. Look up and see that figure of Sesko already making runs to get into positions to shoot. Then you add him to the rest of the squad, to the supporting cast behind him. He's the ideal target. Bruno Fernandes? It's no secret, he's very inventive with his passing. He loves that high-risk, high-reward pass. Sesko is a high-risk, high-reward shooter with stunning accuracy too. His shooting accuracy is as high as 75% and he's got a shot conversion rate of 50%. Combine this with his speed and ability to hold the ball and he's the ideal frontman for a player like Bruno. If he can get him the ball in spaces that will hurt the opposition, Sesko will punish teams. The same for players like Ahmed. When he makes mazy runs from right wing back or right wing forward, he'll have a figure in the box to get on the end of crosses and create chances. Need the team to go long from a goal kick? It's one area they struggled with last season. Rasmus Højlund showed his ability to make channel runs, but he struggled to hold the ball. Sesko is adept at playing with his back to goal. He towers over most centre-backs with his frame. He can hold the ball and wait for the rest of the team to arrive. In the air, he's big. Of the 213 aerial duels he's contested over the last 2 seasons, Sesko has won 119 of them. For context, Rasmus Højlund contested 222 and won just 58. Sesko is for Manchester United right now, nearing that complete package. Get this, across Europe's top 5 leagues last season, only one striker managed to hit double figures, win the majority of his aerial duels, and complete the majority of his take-ons. That was Benjamin Sesko. At 22, he's already played 265 games and bagged 150 goals and 65 assists. What makes this even better is both metrics. I mean, at that age, the goal count is exciting, but 265 games at just 22. That's deep. Deeper when you realize Sesko's injury record. He's early injured. He's always fit. He's been injured for just 61 days in his entire career. That's roughly just 2 months out. Hasn't been injured in the last 3 years. We've talked about the stats and the package of the player, but having a guy like Sesko, who is always almost fit, allows Ruben Amorim to have a stable target to build the team around. Couple this with the fact that, unlike most top teams in the league, United will play fewer matches after failing to qualify for European football. Maybe it's a good thing. Actually, it is. Fewer matches mean an even reduced risk of injury for Sesko. With the price tag, Sesko knows he'd need to make an impact soon. But then again, the internal situation surrounding him allows him the luxury of time. Why? Because the deal to get Benjamin Sesko to Manchester United didn't start last week or even last summer. It's been in the works for over 6 years. Per multiple reports, Manchester United had actively been scouting Benjamin Sesko since he was at Slovenian outfit Domžale. In 2019, they had the chance to sign Sesko for just 3 million but turned down the deal because they thought the fee was too expensive. In the same summer, they signed Hannibal Mejbri from Monaco and Mateo Mejia from Real Zaragoza. Both players left the club permanently this summer. Financially, it was a costly mistake, especially after they came back for him in 2022. Erik ten Hag had just taken over as the new manager of Manchester United, and after his public fallout with Ronaldo, the club actively began searching for a new striker. The Sesko and United links came up again. This time, though, Sesko was now at RB Salzburg, and the fee they quoted to United for him, $55 million. They passed him up because it was again too expensive. Sesko later joined Leipzig for $20 million. 2 years later, in 2024, they were at it again. United reported interest in Sesko, but this time, Sesko signed a contract extension with Leipzig and chose to remain until a few weeks back. The point with this backstory is despite the change in managers, Sesko has always been a striker Manchester United has fancied. They just did the United thing by waiting too long to possibly overpay when they could have paid less. But if it still makes sense for the club, because on his part, Sesko has shown he believes in the project. In an alternate universe, he's getting unveiled at St James's Park instead of Old Trafford. For weeks, it looked like Sesko was going to be the new striker at Newcastle United. Before that, Arsenal had a strong interest in him. Sesko rejected both and chose to join Manchester United, particularly the Newcastle one. I mean, Newcastle finished 5th in the league and qualified for the Champions League. Again, per multiple reports, they offered higher wages to Sesko, higher bonuses, and even offered a bigger deal as a club to Leipzig for Sesko. Sesko turned down more money for the chance to sign for Manchester United, and before anyone says it's about the project, truth is, the Newcastle project has been on for a while now. They've gone from battling relegation problems to competing for the Champions League. That Sesko chose Manchester United is an indicator that he's the right one. The club didn't have to oversell the dream. He knows what he's coming into. A club that finished 15th in the league last season. A club with its worst season in over 30 years. Still, Sesko accepted it. The exciting part for every United fan with Sesko is that he will get better. We've mentioned his age already. He's still only 22. He's yet to hit his peak years. Still far from it. Manchester United is betting on potential. Again, you could argue that they did with the likes of Højlund and Zirkzee, but honestly, none are quite the physical specimen that Sesko is. If he's on the projected level the club expects him to be, he will explode in English football and the Premier League.
I was playing in the youth back then. It was really interesting to look at him because, as I said, he has the same height, and in general, some kind of movements are the same. And at this point, you think, I want to be like him, of course,
And that's what he sees himself as. Think of him as Haaland, but different, unique. United. Sesko signifies the new era for Manchester United, but is he going to be as good as he's projected to be? Can he score goals regularly in the Premier League, or will he fall on the wrong side of the Bundesliga tax? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Matchday Moments as well.